Eamon Khan here for Seconds Out with Jorge Capetillo. Jorge, it's good to see you. How you doing?
Good to see you, mate. Thank you for your time.
Mate, the English word. I appreciate you dropping in the English word there. Jorge, again, do you particularly rate Jake Paul? Do you feel that he's passed the barrier of being a professional fighter? Can he be called that?
Yeah, 100%. First of all, I don't think he's not even a cruiserweight. With all due respect, that's the first thing. Second of all, obviously, he's been matching, even doing this match very well. Obviously, his last fight against Mike Tyson, fighting a 60-year-old man. I mean, that's something that it's just mediatic. You know what I mean? But he's been doing a good thing outside of the ring. For the sport as a promoter. But I don't think as a boxer has the skill to defeat a former world champion and a guy that is hungry, is looking for redemption, and looking for a great performance.
So how do you feel when you hear the words of Jake Paul calling out the likes of Canelo?
Again, say again.
How do you feel when you hear the words of like Jake Paul calling out Canelo Alvarez? How
That's way too high. You know what I mean? Obviously, he's trying to get attention.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A guy that doesn't has the skills, a guy that doesn't have the experience, a guy that doesn't has the resume as a boxer. Obviously, he has to take all the skill that he has through the media. Great speaker, great. He understands how to move the media, and that's the way he does, and he's doing a great job, he's doing a great job as a promoter, promoting himself, but obviously as a fighter, he still got a lot of to prove. A lot to prove.
I want to ask you about Tyson Fury, who you shared a corner with. Tyson, obviously coming off of the back of the losses to Oleksandr Usyk, has since retired from the sport. But do you think he's retired fully?
Well, let me tell you this. Tyson Fury. He's a special man. I think in life you win, you lose, you learn. You know what I mean. I think we all have different process. You know what I mean. And I think now he achieved everything in the sport of boxing. He defeat Klitschko. He come back from 400 pounds, and then he came and defeat Deontay Wilder. You know what I mean? So I think he has nothing to prove to the sport of boxing. Obviously, if he wants to retire and enjoy his life, enjoy the family, man, it's great for him. And if he wants to come back and do a great fight, great for him as well. You know what I mean? So I'm happy to see him in peace. I'm happy to see him, in a good faith. I'm happy to see him with his family, and I just send all my love to Tyson and the Fury family.
Boxing fans always want more. British boxing fans want to dictate when your career ends, and they're saying, look, Tyson can't fully retire without taking on Anthony Joshua. Do you think we'll see that fight? And also, who do you think is the favourite in that fight between the two of them?
I would love to see. First of all, as a fan, I would love to see Tyson Fury against Anthony Joshua. I think that's a fight that it has to be made. I think that's a fight that the world wants to see. I think that's the fight that the UK or the mates wants to see, or the lads over there in the UK wants to see, including myself. And I hope. Why not? I hope that they can make it happen. Like I said, in life you got ups and downs. That's part of life. You know what I mean? But I think that's a fight that everybody wants to see, and I hope they can make. Why not? I would love to see it, and I hope they can make it happen.
Who's the favourite?
100% Tyson Fury. 100%. I go with Tyson Fury all the way. I think he's still more skillful, more IQ. You know what I mean? And I think he can perform well and get the victory against Anthony Joshua.
What do you think of when AJ fought Dubois last? It was an emphatic KO defeat for him against Dubois.
No, let me tell you this. I have the privilege to work with Dubois in one fight in Cleveland, Ohio, when he fight one of the Jake Paul card. Yeah. Right. Yeah, I had the privilege to work with him, man. A tremendous puncher. I remember he was warming up in the locker room. Man, you can see those pads blasting, tan. So it was, in the heavyweight division, he's always one punch away from disaster, and you see what happened. You know what I mean? Joshua, tremendous athlete, a tremendous fighter. You know what I mean? Olympic, a world champion, you know what I mean? A great man. But obviously, like I said, you got ups and downs. And Dubois, a tremendous puncher. And he got the victory. And now he got the chance to rematch Oleksandr Usyk. Where in the first match, everybody see was, they got a little controversy about the punch. I think it was a fair punch. But I will see in this fight. I think he's more experienced. I think he got more confidence in himself. And I can't wait to see the rematch.
Is that enough to beat Usyk?
I think, let me tell you this: he has the power. We already see he has the power. Alexander has a lot of skills. You know what I mean? He has all the skills. He got a great mentality. He's always in tip-top shape, strong man. But I still, he got what you like, maybe 15, 20 pounds over the ball against Alexander, maybe 15. You know what I mean? That's a lot, and that's a lot of power. You know what I mean? But obviously, it's a southpaw. You got advantage on the southpaw stand. Great position on the southpaw stand. But man, let me tell you this: I think Dubois, you know what I mean. He come in the right mindset. You know what I mean? In the right mindset, and he make Alexander Usyk fight. In exchange, obviously, the heavy puncher, he will take advantage, and in this case, will be Dubois.
Going back to Tyson Fury, there was talk about, in obviously the fallout from the defeats to Oleksandr Usyk, about his corner, and maybe there was too many voices in the corner. Do you feel that he has the right team in place for him to return to the top of the sport if he chooses to return?
No, you know what? At the end of the day, Tyson Fury, he knows what he's doing. He knows who he has around. You know what I mean? He has a tremendous IQ. He knows what he's doing. At the end of the day, when the bell, when he comes to the corner, you know what I mean. I'm pretty sure he was just listening what he needs to listen and get out there and do what he do best with his fighting. Like I said, you got ups and downs, but I hope everything that they needs to be fixed in between the corners. This is about in between the corners. I think it will get fixed. And if he come back, obviously he will got everybody who has the experience to spoke to him. In one persona.
It was the Wallin fight, right, that you worked with him for, wasn't it? The Wallin fight, the fight with Otto Wallin that you worked with him for. How do you look back on that fight? Because that was a crisis moment for Tyson, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. I think. For both, from my career, that's what I was being grateful to Tyson. You know what I mean? I was been blessed to be around him. We're still good friends. You know what I mean? We're great compass. And I just spoke to him, and he shot out Chavez Jr. a couple of days ago. And
you did that.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a part way, for my career, and for he as well, it was a great fight. Everything was on the line, like we see his heart fighting with cut. That's what I always say. Tyson, he's been in the ups and downs, not only in the ring but in life. But let me tell you this: even down, he got up with Deontay Wilder in the 12 rounds. In the first one, he came back and fight. You know what I mean? Even cut with Otto Wallin, and continue fighting. That man is a completely packaged. You know what I mean? That's a tremendous fighter. One of the best heavyweights ever to me.
Very last thing, just your Canelo versus Crawford prediction.
No, 100% Canelo. Canelo, he has the weight advantage. He has the skills. He has the more experience. You know what I mean? The more, I think he's double as his record. More than 60 fights as well. Canelo. I think Crawford has like 30. What I'm trying to say is that each fight it gives you something. It gives you experience. I think Canelo has the more experience, the more power, and 100%. I think this might be a short night.
Well, very much appreciated. Thanks for your time. Thanks for taking us out.